Good morning. I am Kevin Price. Glad to be with you, talking to you about you and your business on this Friday morning. Hope you're preparing for a great weekend. I'm looking forward to spending some time talking to some of my contributors here on the program, and love the great content and information they bring and the great guests they bring on. Paul Carroll, really fascinating story, and something, in fact, his background is so unique, I wouldn't be surprised if there's someday a movie written about it. Paul Carroll is a financial advisor, very unique background with a company called Efficient Wealth Management, and I believe that's efficientwealthmanagement.com, and a relatively new contributor, but doing a great job both in the information he brings from his business for my audience, but also the interesting guests he brings on. Paul, welcome to the program. Tell us a little bit more about Efficient Wealth Management, and then introduce us to your guest.
Good morning, Kevin. How are you today?
Good, thanks.
Kevin, thank you for that great introduction. Efficient Wealth Management is a boutique wealth management firm here in the Woodlands, Texas, and we're working using a consultative approach with a team of experts to help our clients protect their wealth, mitigate their taxes, take care of their heirs, protect their assets, and maximize their contributions or charitable giving if that's important to them. One of our leading expert team members is a gentleman I'd like to introduce today, and that's Barry Reynolds. He's a CPA firm. He's a Barry Reynolds CPA is the name of the company. And this is the gentleman we'd like to talk to today.
Well, good morning, Barry. Welcome to the program. Tell us a little bit about your firm.
Hi, Kevin. Appreciate you having me on today. I've actually been practicing as CPA in the Woodlands, Texas since 1987. We have grown over that time to a staff of 7, and we've seen tremendous growth of our business along with the growth of the Woodlands itself. And we kind of specialize in high wealth individuals and small business. And as Paul mentioned, we try to take that consultative approach with our clients and try to match them up with the right financial advisors, estate tax planners, attorneys, insurance. So we try to be almost a counselor to our clients rather than just being their CPA.
Yeah, you want to be a trusted advisor rather than just a bean counter.
That's correct. Most of our clients are small business owners that have grown their businesses to the point that, they have then expanded into other areas, and as well as maybe even being an employee for one of the major oil companies, which is, a large part of our population here in the Woodlands, with so many of the oil companies concentrated in the Houston area.
Very good. All right. Your question, Paul.
Well, Gary, I understand that somehow you got mentioned in Yelp and that you're now the highest-ranking firm on Yelp in the Woodlands. Has that helped drive your business?
It really has. We've been not only with Yelp, we've also reached that same category on Angie's List, which up until a year ago, I didn't realize that Angie's List was really into evaluating professional firms, but it seems like a natural for them to have gone that route, and so it really gives us a great sense of well-being, knowing that there are other people out there recognizing from comments from our existing client base that we are providing the services that they're really looking for.
Yeah. I want to ask you about your clientele. What is it made up of? Is it primarily business or individuals, or a hodgepodge mix of both? And by the way, the website is thewoodlandstax.com, thewoodlandstax.com. Go ahead, Barry.
We have a mix. We're a full-service accounting firm, so we do compilation financial statements as well as payroll services for small business to medium-sized businesses, as well as doing tax planning and tax preparation for those clients. And then they also are the bulk of our individual clients. The firm, as I said, has been in business since 1987, and we now have a little over 1,250 clients as part of our base.
Wow, that's fantastic. Go ahead, Paul.
You've had a lot of growth. Have you been having any challenges or difficulty staffing that growth, Barry?
That has been probably one of the hardest things, especially in the Woodlands area, because there's such a low unemployment rate, because it's a fast-growing community and is also a bedroom community in many ways to the Houston area. So as more and more of these oil companies are moving out to the Woodlands, they're sucking up a lot of the good talent that's coming out of the universities with accounting degrees, especially the ones that have already passed their CPA exams. But we've been successful. We hired 2 new CPAs in the last year, and both with MBAs, and one in management and one in finance. So we feel like we're getting our total staff more well-rounded rather than just being specifically zeroing in on the accounting and tax side, but we can help them with some of the other aspects of growing their businesses.
Yeah, approaching near the end already. It's amazing how much time flies when we're having fun, which I always do when I have Paul on. Paul's with Efficient Wealth Management. That's efficientwealthmanagement.com. And also our guest today, Barry Reynolds. He's at thewoodlandstax.com. Paul, why don't you give a final question for our guest?
Well, Barry, I can attest to the quality of your staff, having worked with them closely. One of the questions that always comes to my mind is, you have grown, I've watched you grow. Is it going to be a challenge for you to find new space? Is that a problem in the Woodlands?
As you well experienced yourself, as we've grown our staffs, our buildings are almost at capacity, and so we are trying to zero in probably not so much on numbers, but the quality and the size of the client, so that we may not have the issues of having to get additional space to handle the client needs.
So basically the space constraints that you have mean that you're not growing numerically, you're growing just totally on the basis of quality.
That's correct, and we were able to handle more work for these clients as they continue to expand their businesses and buy into additional businesses.
Thanks so much, gentlemen. Paul Carroll, he's with Efficient Wealth Management. He's a regular contributor on The Price of Business. Barry Reynolds is a CPA, and Barry can be found at thewoodlandstax.com, thewoodlandstax.com, and Paul can be found at efficientwealthmanagement.com. Thanks to both of you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin.
When we come back, much more for you. Do want to remind you, best content here shows up over there at the national news website, usdailyreview.com.
She ain't got